What?
How could you do this to me, to us?
You said you loved me, that I was the only one.
Oh!
You!
It was you.
It was you!
Months before the shameful day, Amara was living her own fairy tale. It was evening when Chike took her to a quiet garden in town. The night was cool, the moon bright, and soft music floated from a nearby bar. Amara laughed at one of his jokes, unaware of what was about to happen. Chike suddenly went down on one knee. "Amara," he said, his voice shaking with excitement, "from the first day I saw you, I knew you were the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. Will you marry me?" Amara gasped. Her heart raced. She covered her mouth, then burst into happy tears. "Yes! Yes, I will!" she shouted, jumping into his arms. Chike slipped the sparkling ring on her finger. Amara raised her hand to admire it, feeling like the luckiest woman alive. She hugged him tightly, already dreaming of a big wedding and children. When she got home that night, she could not hide her joy. She walked around the house showing off her ring to her siblings. Her twin sister, Adana, smiled faintly, but said little. She was happy, or so it seemed. Amara, lost in excitement, never imagined that her own sister was keeping a love secret too. While Amara was busy flashing her engagement ring around the house, Adana quietly placed her palm on her stomach, smiling to herself. She had her own secret. Weeks earlier, she had missed her monthly flow. A hospital test confirmed what she already suspected. She was pregnant. The news filled her with both fear and excitement. Fear of what her family might say, excitement that the man she loved had planted life inside her. At night, she would sit by her window, whispering to her unborn child, "Don't worry, little one. Very soon your father will come to see my people. Then everyone will know I made the right choice." Unlike Amara, Adana kept her happiness locked inside her heart. She decided to wait for the right time to tell her family. She wanted it to be a surprise, a big announcement that would shock everyone. Amara and Adana had always been inseparable. They wore the same styles of clothes, laughed at the same jokes, and finished each other's sentences. But love began to draw a thin line between them. Amara, with her engagement ring, moved about the house humming songs of joy. Sometimes she giggled for no reason, sometimes she got moody when her fiancé didn't call. The family noticed her change, but they thought it was just love making her act strange. Adana, on the other hand, glowed differently. Her skin shone, her smile was softer, and she touched her belly absent-mindedly. When teased by her siblings, she only smiled shyly and walked away. Both sisters believed they had found their perfect man. Both were guarding their secrets carefully, waiting for the right moment to shock the family with their good news. Chike loved his woman, at least that's what he thought, but sometimes her behavior confused him. One day she would be soft, calm, and gentle like cool water. Another day she would be bold, playful, and fiery like pepper. Chike often scratched his head after spending time with her. Women are just complicated, he told himself. Maybe that's how love is. Once he even joked with her, "Adana, or wait, should I say Amara, you change every time I see you." The twin only laughed, thinking he was being funny. Chike shrugged off his suspicions, never imagining he was dating two sisters. In his heart, he believed mood swings were normal. After all, love was sweet, and both versions of her, whether calm or playful, still melted his heart. He didn't know he was living a dangerous lie. One Sunday evening, after dinner, Adana could no longer hold her secret. Her heart pounded as she stood in the middle of the sitting room, her parents and siblings watching her curiously. "Mama, Papa, I have something to tell you," she began, her voice shaky but firm. Everyone went silent. Amara folded her arms, wondering what could be so serious. Adana took a deep breath, placed her hand on her stomach, and smiled. "I am pregnant!" Gasps filled the room. Her mother covered her mouth. Her father dropped his cup of tea. Amara's eyes widened. Adana continued, "Don't worry. I am not careless. The man responsible loves me. He said he will come and see you people soon." Her parents exchanged glances. They were surprised, but they were not angry. Adana was not a child anymore. They simply nodded and accepted her news. Amara forced a smile, but inside her chest, jealousy burned like fire. Amara clapped her hands and said, "Wow! Congratulations, sister!" She hugged Adana, forcing a smile that barely reached her eyes. But when she returned to her room that night, she threw herself on the bed and stared at her engagement ring with bitterness. "Why her?" she thought angrily. "Why should Adana carry his child before me?" She imagined her sister walking proudly with a round belly while she herself was still waiting for wedding plans to begin. It pained her that the family had quickly accepted Adona's news with joy. Amara whispered to herself, "I wish it was me. I should be the one carrying his child. After all, I am the one he chose with a ring." Though she tried to hide it, her laughter became shorter, her smiles tighter. Love had started to plant envy between two sisters who once shared everything. A week after Adana shared her pregnancy news, her father called a family meeting. The mood was serious. "Adana," he said, clearing his throat, "since you say the man responsible loves you, it is time he comes to see us. We need to know him. We must begin the marriage plans quickly before your stomach grows bigger." Her mother nodded in agreement. "Yes, my daughter. Tell your fiancé to come with his people. We don't want delay." Adana smiled shyly, her heart beating fast. "Don't worry, Mama, Papa. He promised he will come soon. I will speak with him." Amara sat quietly, her fists clenched under her wrapper. She wanted to shout, "But I am engaged too. My man also promised to come," but she held her tongue, determined to save her surprise for later. Inside that house, two sisters were racing towards the same finish line without knowing they were running for the same man. One evening while everyone sat in the sitting room chatting, Amara suddenly stretched her hand in the air, pretending to adjust her hair. The diamond on her finger sparkled under the light. Her younger brother shouted, "Ah, Sister Amara, your ring is shining, oh!" Everyone turned to look. Amara smiled proudly and raised her hand higher. "Yes, it's my engagement ring," she said sweetly. "My man gave it to me. Very soon you will all meet him." The family clapped in excitement. Her mother hugged her. "Two blessings in one house. Donna with a baby, Amara with a fiancé. God is good." Adana forced a smile, but her heart sank. She had no ring to show, only the life growing inside her. For the first time, she felt like her sister's shining ring was brighter than her own good news. The two sisters sat side by side, smiling outwardly, but inside, jealousy and rivalry were quietly sharpening their claws. At night, the twins lay in their separate rooms, each lost in sweet thoughts of the future. Adana caressed her stomach, whispering, "Very soon my love will come home with his people. We will wed and this child will grow in a happy family." She smiled, already imagining herself in a white gown, Chike holding her hand, the baby wrapped in her mother's arms. Meanwhile, Amara stared at her glittering ring. She whispered too, "Soon I will be the wife of my dream man. My wedding will be grand, and our love will shine brighter than this diamond." She giggled, already picturing herself walking down the aisle with Chike, surrounded by music and flowers. Two sisters, two dreams, both tied to one man who had no idea of the storm he had created. The future looked beautiful in their eyes, but fate was silently preparing a day of shame. The compound was alive with celebration. Canopies were set, chairs arranged, and women cooked in large pots. Neighbors gathered to witness the introduction of Adana's fiancé. Adana, dressed in a flowing lace gown, sat like a queen. Her parents moved proudly around, greeting guests. Drummers beat joyfully, children danced, and everyone waited eagerly for the groom's arrival. Amara, though smiling, sat quietly at one corner. In her heart, she was eager. Let me see the man who made Adana so bold, she thought. She was already planning to reveal her own fiancé soon, certain her surprise would overshadow her sister's. Time ticked, drinks were arranged, laughter filled the air. Then a murmur spread. Someone at the gate shouted, "They're here!" The drumming grew louder as a convoy entered the compound. The groomspeople marched in carrying gifts, yam tubers, crates of wine, palm oil, and wrappers. The crowd cheered. Adana's smile widened. Her heart raced. Finally, my joy has arrived. But what was coming through that gate was not joy. It was disaster. The compound went silent as the groom himself stepped in. Handsome, tall, and confident, Chike walked forward holding the palm wine, his parents behind him. But the silence did not last. Amara leapt to her feet, her eyes wide, her ring glinting in the sun. "Chike!" she screamed. The entire crowd turned. Adana's smile disappeared instantly. She froze, staring at her twin, then back at Chike. "What are you doing?" she asked in a trembling voice. "This is my man, my fiancé." The air shattered with gasps. Women covered their mouths, men muttered, children whispered. Chike stopped dead in his tracks. The palm wine nearly slipped from his hands. Sweat rolled down his face. He looked from Amara to Adana, his lips moving but no words coming out. "You proposed to me," Amara shouted, flashing her ring before everyone. "And you made me pregnant," Adana cried, clutching her stomach. Chaos broke out. Chike's family exchanged confused glances. The twins' parents stood rooted, ashamed before the guests. The introduction that was meant to unite two families had suddenly turned into the greatest scandal the village had seen in years. Before anyone could stop it, the twins rushed at each other. "You thief!" Amara screamed, grabbing Adana's wrapper. "You liar!" Adana shouted back, pulling her sister's hair. Guests scattered as the sisters rolled on the ground, fighting like enemies. Women rushed to separate them, but the girls were wild, tears and anger mixing in their voices. Their mother cried, "Stop this madness! You are sisters!" Their father shouted, "You want to disgrace me before the whole community?" But it was too late. The damage was done. Chike stood helpless, his parents tugging at his arm. "What is this nonsense?" his mother hissed. "How can you bring us here to disgrace us?" The twins glared at each other with swollen eyes, both refusing to let go. "You will not leave him for you," Amara shouted. "He belongs to me already," Adana fired back. The compound was filled with shame, whispers, and confusion. A ceremony meant for joy had become a battlefield of love, betrayal, and family disgrace. When the fight was finally broken apart, the atmosphere was heavy. Guests whispered as they quietly sneaked out of the compound. The drums had gone silent, the food untouched. Chike stood before the family, his head bowed in shame. Their father spoke firmly. "Chike, you have disgraced us, but if you truly love this family, you must decide. You cannot marry both of my daughters. Choose one, here and now." The compound went quiet. All eyes turned to Chike. Amara stepped forward, raising her hand with the ring. "He chose me already. I am his fiancé." Adana stepped forward too, resting her palm on her stomach. "But I carry his child. I am his future." The parents argued among themselves, urging him to choose wisely, but the twins stared at each other with fire in their eyes, neither willing to step aside. Chike opened his mouth, but no words came. He looked from the ring to the baby bump, from Amara to Adana, sweat dripping down his face. The truth was clear. No matter what he said, one heart would break forever. But the both sisters shouted in unison, "I will never leave him for you!" The impossible choice hung in the air like a curse. The compound remained tense. The twins stood side by side, both claiming the same man. Their parents begged them to be reasonable, but neither agreed to step back. The story ends here, with no answer, no winner, only a heavy question. If you were in Chike's shoes, what would you do? And if you were either of the twins, would you give up your man for your sister?